Alright, we are back here with our annual episode of the Campfire. Episode number 2 from last year. We are once again going over our year-end lists. This is Matt. You guys want to say your names?
I'm Ben.
I'm Connor.
You can't see us, we're just doing audio this year, but yeah. So we have a little wheel that we're spinning with a
And
bunch
Connor
of...
already spent it because...
Well, why wouldn't we? We want to have the idea before the actual thing.
Yeah,
So
so we have a wheel deciding what we're going to talk about first, and Connor spun the wheel, and it's artist/group of the year.
And this is one that I was actually thinking about. I was actually excited to talk about this one. Do you want to just go down the couch?
Yeah, you can start Ben.
All right.
that way.
So-
I'll go last. And
So
I'll
this
add it.
person, like we all know there's a lot of beef in rap this year. And a lot of them in particular, but one stood out. And these two individuals both had pretty great, successful years. But the other one that I felt, even though they may have taken an L in this beef, did have a better year publicity, maybe not publicity-wise, but success-wise and charts-wise. They had Look Alive, Sicko Mode, all of that. So I think the person that controlled the year this year was Drake.
I thought you honestly, because you went from there, I thought you were going to say that.
And yeah, Pusha T did also have a great year, but it was mainly between those two, and I think just Drake had the edge on him because of his success with some of his singles and tracks. All right, Connor, it's you.
Connor, you're up.
Or did you just agree with me?
I'm passing it to.
Oh, okay.
Passing it?
I'm gonna.
I'm
answer
still
at the end.
kind of deciding. Like, I think it probably would be Brockhampton for me if they dropped half the stuff they said they were going to. But I feel like this is just more like a regroup year for them. Obviously, they had lost their member. They were trying to go one way and they wound up going another. So I look for them in the future, but I don't think I can give it to them this year. But I think the artist of the year for me, more just on quantity, more than everything that they put out, would have to be Kanye for me, because he obviously had his solo album, his collab album, and then he
That's true.
produced 4 or 5 other albums himself, all of which are huge successes. So he is all over my end of year album and songs list, whether it's something he produced or did himself. And plus, I don't know if anyone's had as much as social media or political impact as he has, just with all the rants he's gone on and stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would say Kanye.
You guys both had some good picks, but personally for me, I'm gonna have to go with I like Juice WRLD for the year. Honestly,
Ooh.
I do.
Represent Chicago.
He's got some good albums that came out. Right, he had 2 this year or 1? I think he had 2 because there's one that came out
Yeah, too.
in the beginning of the year and then one at the end.
Yeah,
And so
mixtape and an album.
yeah, so either way, he had a lot of new music this year. I thought he just had some good additions, a lot of high chart toppers. And I thought that, overall it's just someone who kind of just stepped out and pretty much almost like a newcomer, but as well just kind of.
Especially where we're from.
It was very popular.
Live 20 minutes away from him.
Very popular, very good music, and I just enjoyed a lot of it. So.
Yeah. All right, next topic.
All right.
Top 5 artists play count.
So we spun the wheel again. Now we're doing the top 5 artists by play count.
Good
So
thing
it's
I
not
don't use
necessarily-
Spotify, so I don't have play
Yeah.
count for my artists.
This is not necessarily stuff that came out this year, but
yeah,
stuff
it's
we've
just who
revisited.
we listened to the most this year.
Which artists we listened to the most this year?
Alright, so I guess I'll start. Coming at number 5, I had Kendrick Lamar, which is not a big surprise with songs like Wow Freestyle and some of his older stuff from Damn from last year. 4, I had J. Cole, which is heavily from his KOD album this year. 3, A$AP Rocky, which I'm pretty sure is mostly from Pick It Up. 2, Brockhampton, because I really like some of their singles and some of the Saturation trilogy, of course, from last year. And number 1, Kanye West, just because he's been, I think, my number 1 for the past 3 or 4 years now, and based on play count. And his kind of music is just kind of its own genre. It can compare to other genres about how frequently I listen to it. Sometimes I just play on his music. I think he's the only artist that I could say I frequently listen to as much as him.
All right. Well, since I don't have statistical data to back up my 5, I will go based on people I know I listened to a lot this year. So at number 5, I would put J. Cole. He has a new song called Tribe with Bass or whatever it's pronounced as. And then
He had
also
all kinds of features this
yeah,
year.
he had a lot of features. So he
He
popped
didn't
up.
have any features though.
Exactly. There's no features, but he was on 13 other people's stuff.
Yeah. So he was on a lot, and plus I've revisited a lot of his stuff because I just a big fan of his. Then I would say number 4 was probably Lil Wayne, and that's a lot from the Carter 5,
Yeah.
which was one of my favorite albums of the year. And then at number 4 was probably what's his name?
You already did number 4. You have Cole and Wayne.
Cole and Wayne. Oh,
You're
so
on 3 now.
3. Sorry, what did I say? 4.
I think so. That doesn't
Oh.
matter.
All right, 3 is who's the I'm blanking right now on the back. So there's 2 of them.
Number 2?
Who's the no 3? Who's the second guy? So it's Ye and I'm blanking so hard. Kid Cudi. I don't know why I couldn't think of his
You
name.
couldn't remember who the other guy in Kid See Ghost was.
Yes, I couldn't. I don't know
We were
why.
literally humming him on the car ride here.
I was, and I was talking
You
about
literally
him.
forgot Kid Cudi's name.
I
but
worked very
alright.
hard. Either way.
Alright.
So he was my number 3. I listened to some of his old stuff and then a lot of Kids See Ghosts. Number 2 would be Thomas Rhett. Love a lot of his country music. I listened to him a ton this year. It's really good. And then number 1 would be Kanye.
Alright, number 5 for me is, like Connor said, Thomas Rhett. He kind of like filled the void for all country music that I listened to whenever I was just in a country mood. He was always the go-to. And then number 4 is Kanye. Again, just so much quantity. He has albums back to 2004, and he had 4 or 5 different produced albums this year. So always finding ways to go back to him. Number 3 was Travis Scott. I started digging deeper into his discography, like back to his mixtape days as well as going back to Rodeo, which is one of my favorite albums of all time. Plus, he had the album this year, Astro World. Number 2 is Khalid. I didn't really like American Teen that much last year, but this year it clicked for me, so I played the hell out of it this year. Never really stopped listening to it. And number 1, kind of predictable with their album this year, and the 3 last year, and the few singles they came out with this year would be Brockhampton.
Alright, so next up we have Best Newly Discovered Artists.
All right.
starting off here.
So best newly discovered. This guy. Yeah, I kind of initially last year thought he was gonna be a one-hit wonder. So I guess it's kind of cheating here, but like I think I started listening to him more so this year because I really only liked one track of his last year. That track was "Catch Me Outside," which I thought was gonna be a one-hit kind of wonder thing. I didn't really think this guy would blow up, and then he got my attention in his freshman cypher this year. And that is Ski Mask the Slump God, and especially with his album Stokely, you can see his kind of evolution over time and how much he kind of has improved on himself. Connor?
I would agree. I was gonna say the same person. I was really upset that you just said that because it took mine, but go ahead.
So you got the same one, Connor? Okay, my newly discovered artist, and the only reason I listen to them because I think their album came out in January and no one drops in January. So I'm always just trying to find for as much underground music as possible just so I can have some sort of list. And first listen, I'm just kind of like, all right, this is weird as hell, probably going to push back to the side. And then there were a couple reviews on YouTube, one by Dead End Hip Hop and the other by Fantano. And that their positive reviews made me go back to them. So JPEG Mafia was my newly discovered artist of the year, and then loved his album this year, and went back to his older stuff. So that's
Next
mine.
topic. Top 10 favorite album. Oh, this is the big one. Oh, no, this isn't the big one. This is just favorite.
Well, it's basically the same thing for me. So
Yeah,
I
let me just kind of explain
go
the
back.
difference between favorite albums and top 10 albums. Favorite albums is mainly like what we kind of listen to, but didn't really focus on the quality itself of the album, just something that we played more often, not necessarily most played, but just something that you kind of pop on when you're bored or whatever, or So yeah, it can be the same as your top 10 albums, but for me it's a little different. I don't know about these guys, but I think I'll just count down 10 to 1 here real quick. Number 10.
Wait, do you want to guess our number ones for?
No, this is favorite albums, not.
This is not the
top
do you have
10.
a different number one for this one than your top 10? Or is it the
Yes,
same?
I
You have a
do.
different one?
I'm gonna void myself from this this part of it because mine's gonna be exactly.
Yeah,
the same.
So me and Connor's are exactly the same.
Oh, so I should just go through mine.
So
then?
you
Yeah,
just
go
do
ahead
yours.
Okay.
yours, and
So
then
we'll do.
Okay.
meet up on a different one.
So, I guess it's just me for top 10 favorite albums. I got number 10, Ski Mask and Slump God Stokely. Number 9, J. Cole KOD. Number 8, various artists, Black Panther, the album music from Inspired By. Number 7, Shawn Mendes. Number 6, Travis Scott's Astroworld. Number 5, Lil Wayne's Carter 5. Number 4, Gorillaz, The Down Now. Number 3, Kanye West, Ye. Number 2, Kids See Ghosts. And number 1, MGMT, Little Dark Age. And those are my favorite albums, and it might be a little different for my top 10 albums itself. And then, where are we going on to
So
now?
we'll move on to, and we'll
Was
come
this supposed
back.
to be songs?
We'll
That plays
revisit.
now?
Top 5 albums play count? No, I had some albums.
Oh, we have albums by play count too.
Yeah. Is this another one where it's just me then?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I can do this, but I mean.
Yeah. So again, me and Connor's lists are from like top favorite or most played or just best overall are all the same. Where Ben has a little bit of variety in his, so that's the only reason why Ben is just going right now.
And then for the 5 album count, you're doing the album count, right? Or
No, I'm not doing play count. No, it's the same exact for me.
okay, well,
So
mine's gonna be a little different.
my
And wait,
most-
is this just from this year? Because I'll change mine.
Yeah.
Okay, then it might be different.
Yeah, because my most played are my favorite, and my favorite I think are just the best quality. So there's not much variety. in
Mine are probably
at all.
different, but I don't have them. Again,
So-
Apple
Yeah.
Music's not quite on the. They don't want to give you the numbers like
For
Spotify.
my fifth top album by play count this year, I had Gorillaz and Now Now, which is kind of self-explanatory because I like Trans a lot and Sue, I'm blanking here, whatever that one's called, I forget, but a lot of the tracks on there I just kind of listened, popped it on a lot. Number 4 I had, to somebody on this couch is surprised probably, Brockhampton's Iridescence,
Yes.
which is, I think, because I tried so many times to like it,
That
and
it
it not,
finally
never really came through, but there were still a couple tracks I had on my main playlist or something that might have contributed to it. Number 3, Kanye West, Ye, which was probably because about half the album was songs I had on heavy rotation. Number 2, Lil Wayne, The Carter 5, I think because of Mona Lisa and Uproar, listened to those a lot. Also listened to the album itself a lot. And then number 1, Travis Scott's Astroworld, which I think was from a combination of Stargazing and Sicko Mode.
Just from playing those songs over.
Just
and
from
over
playing
again.
those 2 songs in my heavy rotation, they're still in there. So
So for most played, what did you use again to find out?
most played. Oh, I used Last FM. It's an app it's a free app on the App Store. You just plug in your Spotify stuff and it starts tracking from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Shout out to them.
Yeah.
All right, so next up on the wheel, our next category is top 5 anticipated albums of 2019.
All right. So
Want to switch it up a little bit because you were just talking a lot? Get
yeah,
yourself a
let's
breather?
go this way. This time.
Okay, so I'll go first. I have it here. I gotta find it. Let's see. We have top 5. Okay, number 5 is Joyner Lucas. He came out with a single, I think, in like November, and an EP, kind of like, I think like last April or May. So I was kind of really hoping his album would drop this year. Like he already released the title for it, but I think it was called ADHD, but it didn't drop this year. I obviously loved 508, 507, 2209 that dropped last year, so I'm anticipating that. Number 4 is Yandi, which was supposed to drop 2 different times this year and didn't. So I'm still not, even with all the Kanye albums that came out this year, I'm still hoping for more. Number 3 is Chance the Rapper, whether it be his collab with Gambino, his collab with
I forgot
Kanye,
about that one.
or his solo that he was working on. So any of those 3 albums. Number 2 is Injury Reserve. I thought they would drop this year. They haven't dropped anything since. They dropped the like an EP last year, but their last full-length album was in 2016. So I'm looking forward to what they have next. And number one for me is Brockhampton again. They signed like a 3-year deal with RCA where they need to drop 6 albums in 3 years. So with only 1 album last year, they're a little off pace. So I'm looking forward to whatever they drop this year, especially since 3 of their albums got canceled last year.
All right, so it's me, I guess, because Connor doesn't have anything. Number 5, I have Run the Jewels 4,
Oh, I forgot.
which was, I think, announced. Well, there were rumblings about it coming this year, but I think either LP or Killer Mike, one of them tweeted out about how their year was just so crazy and them going on tour and how they're working on it now and they've probably got coming for this year. Number 4, I have Chance the Rapper's Untitled Chance 4 album, mixtape, whatever it's called.
I think it's supposed to be an album this year. I think
An album? Well, okay, so his 4th project coming out. Excited for that. Really liked Coloring Book. Number 3, I have Kendrick Lamar's Untitled 2019 project, which don't really know much about other than that's coming this year. Number 2, of course, I have Kanye West Yandhi, which, like Matt said, was supposed to drop 2 times last year and it didn't. And then number 1, I have Chance the Rapper and Kanye West collab album, Good Ass Job, which also should be coming this year. Really excited for that one. Alright, are we spinning the wheel again?
Next up.
High chance that we get a repeat one here.
Probably. Yep.
All right,
Let's just see what's left and just run
yeah, I
through
was
it,
gonna say
I guess.
after this. Oh, there you
Oh,
go.
so now we have...
No, we did that already.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, just stop. Stop saying there.
Okay.
We're getting repeats on the wheel here.
Just pick something.
So
Wow, that one
we
came
could do
twice.
top 5.
Let's do
tracks?
breakout artists.
Oh, breakout artists. Okay. Ben, you want to start it off?
All right, so this guy kind of started out his year kind of rough. His album, his first album from this year, he had 2 albums this year. Didn't really like that much initially. There were a few kind of tracks on it that kind of got famous after he died, and those kind of liked more that they got more in the media. Then he started having some post-mortem tracks coming out. Kind of like those. They were all right. He did a collab with Lil Peep, which is kind of decent post-mortem, for both of them, actually. That track was decent. But I think the artist that kind of had his year, even with the unfortunateness of his death, was XXXTentacion.
Yep.
I think he really kind of got more into the eye of the media now, especially with his death. But yeah, that brought a lot more attention to him and his music, I think.
In terms of breaking out more and getting a lot of mainstream attention, would probably for me be, it's got to be Pusha T, because people know about him. He's not really the most popular person. He's never really been the most popular person, and he's been throwing disses at Drake for pretty much his entire career.
This is the first time
And this is the first time one of them hit, and from there, I feel like he set a trap, and Drake decided to walk into it, and he just got destroyed. But in terms of, he also had a very good album. He made the most of his year in terms of just gaining lots of popularity just from his diss tracks as well as his album. And I think for him, he really comes onto the mainstream stage a bit where he hasn't been living his entire career at. So.
Yeah. My breakout artist is a guy not a lot of people knew about, but I've kind of been on him for a while just because he's from the Chicago area, and I try to find as many local guys as possible. And his last album really didn't get talked about at all, and it was a little bit of improvement, but just now a little bit more of exposure, and bigger reviewers like Fantano started talking about him, even though I don't think he gave a positive review on him. But he got a lot of praise this year, especially on a lot of people's top 10 albums of the year, and that would be Saba with his album Care For Me, which I thought his original stuff was pretty good, but I feel like he took it to like a whole new level, like with his storytelling and lyricism, and just he always just I don't know, his flows are just really improving too. I don't think he's quite mainstream yet, but he really broke out on a much higher platform than he did last year, or whatever year he dropped.
So next, I think we're just gonna go from the bottom up of the list. We're doing top 5 tracks by play count.
Top 5 tracks by play count.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
again,
any
not
year
best
or-
overall tracks we thought,
this year.
Just this year.
yeah. So not like best overall tracks, but just the ones we happen to listen to the most for whatever reason.
So, I guess I'm starting. Number 5, I have Tyga feat. Offset's Taste. Kind of self-explanatory. I realized that most of the top 5 tracks are more so like kind of like dance tracks or something that was
Exactly.
more popular.
Well, that's what you listen to the most.
Because that's mostly what I listen to like in the car or whatever, if I was driving with other people, something like that. Just wanted to put music on with other people around. So that kind of feeds into the next one, number 4. Kanye West feat. Lil Pump's I Love It, which I, the first day it came out, I think I listened to that song on loop all day. Just because
Really?
I thought it was so absurd, especially with the music video. And I kind of started digging it a
Just
little bit more.
unironically.
Yeah, unironically. Number 3, which I was kind of surprised actually came out this year when I was looking back here. So I could have sworn the song was last year, but it's actually the album that came out last year. But this certain remix came out this year, and that's Nerd feat. Rihanna, Drake remix, Lemon Drake remix, which actually came out I think February or March this year, so I guess it still counts. Number 2, which kind of was a single preceding his album that came out this year, is Travis Scott feat. Uzi Vert and Kanye West, Watch, which is kind of a teaser for Astroworld. And then my number one track from this year by play count was J. Cole's KOD, which I guess kind of makes sense because I'd listened to that before meets and races and all that for track and cross country to pump me up. But yeah, I guess these kind of make sense. What about you, Matt?
All right, so my number 5, I think, was also on yours, Travis Scott, Watch. Just, I actually didn't like it at first, but I kind of it came out in the summer, and it just kind of was more of that kind of vibe track. Like, especially Kanye's verse I really liked. And number 4, I have Pusha T with What Would Meek Do, another one Kanye is featured on where I really liked his feature. Number 3 was Post Malone with 92 Explorer. Number 2 is Travis Scott with Can't Say. And number 1, again, pretty typical for me, Brockhampton with their opening track of the album, New Orleans.
So my 5 was Stargazing by Travis Scott.
Are these in like no particular order? Because you don't.
I don't know, so I'll just give you like a rough
Top 5.
estimate of top 5, but like,
Okay.
so 4 was ATM by J. Cole.
Kind of.
3 was Shoota by Playboy Cardi. 2 was Fourth Dimension, and then 1 was Wasted.
By
Wasted is by.
Who's that by?
who's that by Connor?
It's your top
Connor,
track
it's
of
your
the
number
year.
one.
I know.
It's your top track of the
I
year.
literally just used him as my thing. Juice WRLD. I don't know
Juice
why.
WRLD.
Okay.
You guys put me on the spot, and I
With
blanked.
Uzi Vert.
Hmm?
With Uzi Vert. That's twice you forgot Juice WRLD's name.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
No, I forgot Kid
Oh, you
Cudi's
forgot
name.
Kid
Oh, yeah,
Cudi.
that's
That's right.
right.
Different name.
Jeez.
Next one.
All right. So next category we're doing 10 albums. I think we're gonna shorten this to
Worst 5 albums of the year?
worst 5
I
albums
can
of the
give you
year.
1, and that's it.
So I guess I'll start again. I think this is the one that Connor's thinking of. Fall Out Boy's Mania. That album was really dookie. Kind of
Is this
disappointing.
your worst or your 5th worst?
My 5th worst.
Okay.
Not my number 1 worst.
Okay.
Kind of disappointing on Fall Out Boy's part. They've been kind of in a decline for me. Their most recent album before this, American Beauty, American Psycho, didn't really like that one. But I did like, kind of blanking what the album's called, but
The one before it.
the one before it, the one that had my songs, Know What You Did in the Dark, that one I really liked for Fall Out Boy. But then moving on to the next one, was number 4, kind of more underground. Tiny Moving Parts, Swell. This one just didn't really hit. I think it was my first album from these guys. I like some of their other singles that they had out before, but this one is Of Mice and Men, Defy. This album, I think, is placed here solely because of the shameless cover they had of Pink Floyd's Money, which, since I'm a big Pink Floyd man, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. This is kind of a screamo cover of Money, which kind of upset me. Number 2 is not really surprised that this guy's here, but Riff Raff's Alcoholic Alligator. That album, I think, was a fever dream, and I try to not remember it. And then number 1, coming in, my number 1 most disliked album of the year, which I don't even know if it counted as an album, but I'm still playing it here, which is At Wendy's We Beefin', which was a promo album made by the fast food place Wendy's.
Oh my god.
And it was just so bad, it hurt me.
I
But
forgot
still
that
sat
was
through
a
it.
thing.
Yeah, it was so bad. Alright, whoever else here.
I just have one. It's Mania. It's
Yeah.
terrible. All right, go ahead.
So you have
Kinda
one
explain
that's
that.
just your worst?
I don't listen to a lot of bad albums.
Yeah, I try not to. Number 5, accidentally let myself listen to this, is Lil Yachty with Little Boat 2.
Huh.
I don't know why I thought I should listen to it, but it was just a waste of time. My 4th worst album is Logic with Bobby Tarantino 2. I thought he just tried being too mainstream. I liked his Young Sinatra 4 mixtape a lot better. Number 3, Ben, you're gonna absolutely hate me, but MGMT with
Why?
Little Dark Age. I don't know. I can't listen to it. Anytime I put it on,
I know when you
It
first
annoys
listened
me.
to it, it was either you or Connor. One of you texted me like, "This album's so pathetic."
What is it? When you die?
That was Matt. Yeah.
That if
When
we
you
did,
die, you're like, "Oh, this album's so weak."
if
Like,
we did it, it would probably be my worst song of the year. I
Really?
hate that song. I don't know why. It's not like bad artistic quality, just the sound of it. I could not get into it whatsoever.
I liked it.
Number 2, it kind of goes off against what you said earlier. It was your artist of the year, but Drake's Scorpion.
Yeah,
It's too long. It doesn't need to be as long as it was.
I didn't like it either, but I think it contributed towards Drake's album of the year status for me because of the public reception from it. Like, more people liked In My Feelings and Nonstop
Yeah.
and all that.
I mean, there were a couple songs in there, but not
Too
even
long.
like the songs weren't even necessarily bad, but it was just filler track after filler track. It was just boring.
Yeah.
And my worst album of the year, and something I think needs to stop, is Migos solo albums, and that would be Quavo with Quavo Huncho.
What was wrong with it?
I didn't like it at all.
Oh,
It was
really?
really bad. It sounded like, I don't know. I don't like listening to an individual Migo for more than a verse at a time. So that kind of annoyed me.
I just like to say,
Take off the last rocket. Just missed it. It was my 6th worst album.
I just like
of
to
the
say that Connor is mouthing some things, and I cannot understand what he's saying, so we might as well just say them out loud.
Next category.
Okay.
year. Next
Just
category.
move on.
The next category is our big one. Top 10 albums.
Is this the last one?
This is the last category.
Last category. Top 10 albums of the year. So Ben kind of already gave a little preview.
With our favorite albums.
Yeah. But this one, this is going to be a little different.
Okay.
So do you want us to predict what your number 1 is first?
Yeah,
Or say
first
after?
tell me, let's do that. First, you guys tell me what you think mine.
I think I showed him, and I think we both kind of agreed. Kids See Ghosts
That is
is what I think his
my
number 1
guess.
is.
Didn't you say you had 2 guesses?
Oh yeah, my other guest was Post Malone,
Really?
Beer Bugs.
Really?
Because I think you said you didn't like that at first either.
That's true.
And going off,
And I did have that tweet where I
going
was like-
off Ben's Twitter at Noting Music, he said his album of the year was something that he didn't initially like.
Yeah. Okay, so number 10, we're going to count up here. I have Car Seat Headrest, Twin Fantasy. If you know me, I'm kind of a sucker for the indie kind of sound.
Yep.
I thought it was a really, just lyrically, really great album. Sounded really appealing too. Number 9, Gorillaz The Now Now. This one was a bit higher on my favorite albums list, but I just feel like coming back from Humans from last year, which wasn't really a great album on Gorillaz standards, I think this was a nice fresh of breath air, if you understand that reference there. Yeah, I just felt better, and I picked it up on vinyl, and a lot better than Humans. Try to block out Humans from my mind in the future. Number 8, Jack White, as known as from the White Stripes. He had the album Boarding House Reach, which I thought was pretty good. As an album itself, didn't really like the songs individually, but coming together with a narrative and all that, I think the album just kind of fit together like great puzzle pieces, pretty much is the only way to describe it. Number 7, various artists, Black Panther, the album Music from Inspired By. I just think this album was kind of just hit after hit with each track, like The Ways, King's Dead, all of that, just great songs. Number 6, Pusha T's Daytona, which was another one of the Kanye West produced albums, one of the 5. And I think this also is contributed to by the beef with Drake, that kind of brought his name out more and kind of brought him to my attention more. Number 5, I have Death Grips, Year of the Snitch, which Death Grips have always been a hit with me with the Money Store and other albums that they've had out. But Year of the Snitch, wouldn't really say it's their best album, hasn't really topped any of their best kind of standout points, but it definitely was on par with what they usually have. Number 4, I have Kanye West's Ye, which is kind of short for a Kanye West album, but most of the tracks on there pretty good, pretty great in the evolution of Kanye West, about how he reinvents his sound with every album. Number 3, I have Lil Wayne's The Carter 5, which I was very excited that finally came out this year. Finally was able to release this album this year. A lot of great lyricism shown from Lil Wayne, even though there are some flaws, like you can see where it's been adjusted to fit the 2018 stuff he's added kind of in there, but I feel like Lil Wayne kind of brought himself back with this album and kind of brought back his songs into the mind or the public eye. Number 2 was a song that Matt talked about on his least favorite albums, which is MGMT's Little Dark Age. And this song kind of rode out through most of the year, coming out early in this year as my number 1 album. I don't think that ever topped number 1's, my number 1 album of the year, which was Kids See Ghosts, which you both predicted. In the end of the year, this album kind of came out a lot more for me. Started listening to a lot in heavy rotation as well. But initially when it came out, I'm like, this isn't really it. This isn't as good as Ye. But then kind of later in the year, I started listening to it more, and I think every track on it is just a hit, and just song after song I can listen to and just be like, wow, I just listened to this album on loop. So yeah, that's my top 10.
All right, you guys want to throw out some guesses? Because I know you...
Oh yeah, I wrote down some guesses for Connor.
I'll take your top one, and then we'll work from there.
My top one was Kids See Ghosts.
My top one for you actually too was Kids See Ghosts.
And then my second guess was Ye.
My second guess was also Ye, actually.
Okay, so you guys flipped the top 2. If you guys would have flipped in reverse order, you guys would have that for my top 2.
Really?
Oh, really?
So we'll start from the back. So number 10, I have DiCaprio too. I just like the album. It was pretty good. Number 9, I have Both Sides of the Sky by Jimi Hendrix. Thought that was also another pretty good album. Something that was a bunch of just released tracks that are post-mortem for Jimi Hendrix. A good little toss back to the past. Number 8, I have Daytona. Like I talked about earlier, pretty good album. Solid comeback album from Pusha T. Put him back into a bit of the spotlight. Number 7, I have Taboo. I just like that album.
Top 13.
Either way, it was a very good album.
That was my third guess for your album of the year.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I just liked it a lot. A lot of the tracks were it flowed well together in my mind. I just liked it a lot. Number 6, I have The Carter 5. Just a great album where you brought back Lil Wayne to the spot where, we remember him for the lighter flick in the beginning of some of his songs. You come back and now you can remember him for Mona Lisa. And, he even has some songs on there that you could just, get ready for, it's some more up-tempo songs and less throwback songs to some of his middle discography. Number 5, I have Beer Bongs and Bentleys. Just a pretty good album. Very mainstream, very popular. A lot of the songs on there are just songs you could throw on in the car.
Yeah.
Number 4, I have Stokely. This is an album that I wasn't really anticipating until I started middle of the year listening to Catch Me Outside, as presented to me by a couple of friends, and then I just really liked that. And so the more I listened to it, the more I liked the ski mask kind of flow and the the beats that he was throwing out. So when he came out with Stokely, I was pretty excited to listen to it, and it really didn't disappoint. Number 3, I have Goodbye and Good Riddance by Juice WRLD. And I just, again, one of the albums where during the summer I heard it and I was like, this is pretty good. I like most of the songs. The only downside to it was most of the songs are depressing songs, which isn't the best for the summer mood, but I mean, still very good. Number 2, I have Kids See Ghosts, which was for a large majority of my year my favorite album. And then at the end of the year, Ye kind of took it over, and that was something.
And you didn't like that
Another
album,
album,
actually.
really
another
didn't
album
like
you
it.
did not like at first.
I despised Ye first, but then the more I listened to it, the more I came to just appreciate the album
Snap down.
itself. So, sorry, go ahead.
My turn?
All right, so let's guess for Matt.
Oh yeah.
I have Iridescence.
Yeah. I kind of picked one obvious thing and one not so obvious thing.
What was your second guess?
My second guess?
Yeah.
My second guess was Daytona.
Okay.
And then for the obvious one, I picked Iridescence.
Yeah. What was your second guess?
I don't have a second guess. I just
If you had one?
I'm all in on one. If I had one, it'd honestly probably be Kids See Ghost.
Okay. All right. So, most years when I get my top 10, I have like 6, 7, maybe 8 albums I know that are gonna be in there, and then I'll scrap together and find 1 or 2. But honestly, there were like 15 albums this year that I really wanted to put in, but obviously it doesn't fit for simple math reasons. So it actually kind of hurt to cut some of these, most specifically Lupe Fiasco. But I love that album so much. It like one of the highest qualities, but I didn't return to it enough, just due to its length. I think it was like 97 minutes long. But anyways, my number 10 is, before mentioned, JPEG Mafia with Veteran. I just found this, and it's just really experimental, really weird sounding. And he makes it work with all kinds of like flows and bars over the weirdest production. And then number 9 is Vince Staples' FM. I actually had him ranked number 9 last year too. And he stays consistent with as far as quality goes, but he completely changed up his flows and production again. I like the concept of it, how it was like supposed to be like on like a radio station or whatever. Number 8, also before mentioned, with my breakout artist, is Saba with Care For Me. I thought this was some of the best storytelling tracks of the year, along with lyricism and very like simple and minimalist, but like also really like deep production. Number 7 is JID or JID with DiCaprio 2. Like the way he switches up his flows, the phenomenal lyricism, just the great kind of like more traditional beats that he goes over. I loved all of that. Number 6 is Kanye West with Ye. I just kind of liked how it's really short, and I was able to like just let it flow. Like even it's 20 minutes long. If I listen to it, I could just listen to it over again and again. And I fought with this one at number 5, but I gave Kids See Ghost the edge over Ye.
Really?
I
thought that'd be higher.
I thought it would be too. Just my top 4 are crazy. But number 5, I wanted to put this higher along with EA, but again, it's just short enough. I could keep looping it. I think every single track is high quality. There are no fillers, and yeah. Number 4, I think, is probably a little bit of a surprise, basically because of how much I hated their last album, which was, I think, their more popular album, and that is Post Malone with Beer Bongs and Bentley.
Really? You hated Stoney?
I didn't like Stoney at all.
I'm sorry, did you say there?
His albums? I don't know.
Post and Malone.
Post and Malone.
The group, the well-known.
Yeah.
It's like Ray Shrem.
But like, I didn't like Stoney, and I don't think he particularly did anything too different on this. I think like small refinements, and I think this one just clicked a little bit more for me. Like every single track on here, I could just, if I just need one song to just get me in a good mood, I could do that, or I could just let it play on shuffle and ride forever, or I could listen to it straight through, just in the track order. I think any way you listen to it's really good.
It's popular.
Number 3, which Ben I think guessed it, is Pusha T with Daytona. This was my number 1 for a very large majority of the year until my number 1 came out, obviously. I love the Kanye West production, and I feel like Kanye kind of went away from more of his, like, sometimes almost like pop sounding. He like knew that it wouldn't fit so well for Pusha T, and he kind of almost adjusted himself to fit himself better for Pusha T. And this is the best Pusha T rapping I've heard ever since he was on Clips with Hell Hath No Fury.
Mm-hmm.
And number 2, which may be another surprise, only because I just didn't talk about it a lot and didn't like it initially, is Travis Scott with Astro World. And there are a lot of songs I liked individually on it first, but it got to the point where every single song on this album I loved, and there's like no skippable tracks, and the ones I didn't particularly like at first started becoming my new favorites. And number 1, I'm guessing not much of a surprise for anyone at all, is Brockhampton.
Of course it is.
What's that?
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
You know what, can I add something to my low top 5? Yeah, that's my number 2. I fucking hated that one.
Really?
I disliked it so much. I listened to it like 3 times, decided that, you know
Are
what?
we allowed to swear on this?
My mom checks my podcast. Yeah, so I was like, I listened to it a couple times, gave it the listens, you know, I'm like, I have to listen to it, I really like the other ones. And, you know, they called us the Brockhampton guys on the team. I think I'm going to have to recuse myself from the Brockhampton guys because I hated that album.
See,
And I just think it was bad.
first listen, I liked it just out of hype. I'm like, yes, Brockhampton. I've
Yeah,
been waiting
same.
for this.
The first
But then
listen, I was like, oh my
disliked
god,
it
this is
so
amazing.
much.
The first
And
album,
then the next morning came, and it's like, maybe this isn't as good as I thought.
same with me. I'm like, this isn't quite as good. Maybe, I mean, it was still good, but it was like my least favorite Brockhampton album. And then Pusha T was still ahead of it, and Astro World was kind of ahead of it once that dropped. And then I saw them in concert, and it didn't really make it a whole lot better. It was a fun experience. And I just kept listening to it over and over again, and I started like kind of hearing more like emotion than I've ever heard out of them. So like the first 3 albums I thought were like a lot of fun, and they like just did a whole bunch of things with like crazy like beats and different flows and different styles that we never heard before. But now I feel like they're just getting more personal than they ever have before, and I just really appreciated that, especially with everything they've gone through this year with dealing with the newly found fame and losing one of their best friends that they kicked out of the group and all the accusations he got. So this is easily my album of the year, Brockhampton Iridescence.
Really?
Really? I love every single song in there.
I can say I liked like one song, and I think New Orleans was like the only song I thought was decent on that album.
I think you gotta listen to it again.
I did listen to it again.
You should listen to it again.
You could,
I kind of want to listen to it right now.
Though I do have it on vinyl, even though I didn't like it that much, I do appreciate the clear vinyl that they sent me 4 months later after buying it.
you can book it. I will not like that album ever. I just don't ever see.
Wait, do you like the album?
No, I don't. I took me a little while to think about that because I dislike it so much that I tried to remove that album name from my memory banks.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't dislike it that much.
It's
was
just
disappointed.
going from where they went to hitting
Like if I
that,
heard that
hated
album,
it,
if I heard that album without
so
hearing,
much that it just went from being like, this is something I really like. It had that deep cut. It had that. It wasn't missing anything. It seemed like a full. Everyone was doing their thing, and now I listen to it, and it sounds like I'm listening to the Beach Boys.
that's a weird
That's
comparison.
the best way I can describe it. I don't know. Amir Van gave him that actual rapper, the guy who
Lots of Amir took a big hit on it too. For me.
that like puts it back towards people like Lil Wayne, J. Cole. You know, they have that sound, they have that
Yeah.
feel. When they say something, you listen to
They're-
it and you hear it.
I just don't, with other guys in that, I find them to be more R&B artists, and I was going in expecting to be a rap album, and it seemed more R&B to me. And the people who are doing the rapping, I just don't think are as talented. Not necessarily lyrically. I think there are better lyrically people than Amir, but I think in delivery, I think he had the best.
I think something definitely was lost with the loss of Amir, but I wouldn't count them out yet. I feel like
Maybe
they
can
still
hit it
could come back.
I don't know, but just personally for me, that album was not the speed that I wanted it to be. It was not something that I wanted to listen to overall that much. So I mean,
See, I think their first 3 albums were so good, but I was kind of hoping they wouldn't keep that sound. And when they switched up their sound, I didn't particularly care for it at first, but then once I kind of caught on to what they're doing with like this new iridescent sound that they're coming up with, that they're probably gonna do for their next trilogy, I just loved it. So it didn't click at first, which I'm guessing it still hasn't clicked for you. But
it's just
I
something
think-
that I'm not gonna ever get behind. It's one of those albums where it's like, you listen to it, you can space it out in between a couple of months, listen to it again, give it the same listens, listen to it
See-
while you're happy, listen to it while you're sad. I don't think it's gonna change for me. I just didn't like the album.
I didn't think Amir leaving hurt it too much, to be honest, because I thought he was like more of a compliment, honestly. And I kind of thought like Kevin did all the hooks, Matt and Dom did like all the verses, and he was just kind of like almost brought like that like thug persona on, and you just kind of like complimented them well. Just kind of how like Joba just kind of like yelled shit, and he was like the compliment to all like the bass, like all like the main guys. But I feel like Joba took a huge step up in this. Merlin took a huge step up in this. Everyone improved, and I thought that made up for it. And I think this might be either my favorite album or second favorite album from them. I'm not sure yet.
All right. Well, before we end this off, do you guys have any tidbits to add into the new year? What you guys want to?
Not really. I mean,
Special
I think I've
for-
covered everything that I wanted to talk about.
I really liked Earl Sweatshirt's album. I wish that could have made it too.
All right.
All right. Well,
That's all.
see you next year, I guess. Maybe
we don't mean like December 31st to January 1st thing. We mean
Yeah, we mean like 1 year from now.
365 days from now.
roughly, give or take.
Maybe
2 days.
we might do like a, I don't know, over the summer, halfway through the year
Mid-year.
thing.
I see
We'll
an
see.
extremely dislikely proportional chance that
That's not very likely. Maybe we'll think about it. I don't know.
There's gonna be a lot going on over the summer.
But,
And I feel like that would be a stretch.
If
to
you are listening to this through, just thank you for listening to it. Thank you for hearing us talk about our opinions on music. If you think they're trash,
They probably are.
don't add us.
Don't add us. I'll
Actually,
take
do
it. I
add
can
us
take
at
it.
Noting
I
Music.
can take it.
At Noting Music. What are you, Matt?
At Matt something sack. I don't know. I'll look it up.
Yeah, he's Matt Saxon.
I
We're
intentionally
just search
deleted
it
my music
I,
Twitter because of
Connor
the fact
deleted
that
his
I have
Twitter
bad music takes
because he has
and-
bad takes.
And I'm alright
I
with
have at Matt _ sack _
Yeah.
MATT _ SAK _.
So yeah, follow him if you want. Complain to him about his opinion. Tell him iridescence is bad. Whatever.
Tell me that
Tell me
Brockhampton isn't
MGT
bad here.
isn't
MGT
awful.
is terrible.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys want to say. All right, it's been great.
Thank
for
you.
listening.
Thank you for listening. Follow us on SoundCloud. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Whatever. And that's it.